Hello, how we doing today? So I'm trying this 100-day challenge. We're gonna see what it's like. I have to record a video every single day and post it every single day. Not wait, not let a whole month go by after I film it to download it. No, like actually record it, post it, and keep it moving every single day. What do I hope to achieve from this? Clarity. Finally being able to say that I have no more excuses. I have no more limitations. I'm a bold and courageous person, and I do bold and courageous things. So why should this be different? Why should this be something that I'm choosing to limit myself from doing? Sorry, my daughter's playing in the library's play area because she wanted to come with me to the library or go for a walk with me, and we're working on her movement. She is in the 99 percentile in body fat or in weight. She's in the 98 percentile in growth, and she's only 9 years old. And it's kind of different for me not having a kid fully in the markers. Like my first kid, that was on point. I had him in all the markers. He was doing everything he was supposed to be doing. This one's like a wing it moment. I don't even understand it because she was she wasn't planned, but she was a child that was born in a marriage. And so I thought, that this seems more like balanced, more expected, more things should flow better. But I feel like things have been more chaotic with her than with my son, who wasn't planned. Single mom, I wasn't married. I was all by myself figuring out life in my parents' house at that, and sometimes not at my parents' house. But with her, I am divorced now. We are no longer married, even though he would like to remarry me. That's a story for another day. We're going to stay away from that subject for now. So it's just, you can think that you're courageous and bold and that you can do everything, but then sometimes there are some things that will stop you and will make you feel as though you're inadequate or limited or just unable to do. And I'm learning to set my mind to what I want, what I need, and where I'm going. Yes, I live a life with Jesus, and so Jesus dictates how that goes. But yes, Jesus dictates how that goes, but your attitude is still something that you control. Your response to what he's calling you to is still something you control. Your willingness to come wholeheartedly and to bring your whole self to what he's calling you to is still your responsibility. Like, let's not lie about that part. Like, God could tell you to go do something, and you could do it like Moses, angrily hitting the stone, pissed off as ever, and lose your birthright. Or you could be like Samson, willy-nilly doing things that cost you more than you would imagine. Or you could be like David, who gets it right sometimes, and other times fucks it up. For lack of a better word, because David did. Man after God's own heart, and yet he knew how to screw himself 7 ways from Sunday. But hey, I am no better, so I can never judge somebody like that. But I do know that even when you're at your most confident, there will be times you will struggle. There will be times you will doubt your ability to do. And I have come to learn that when you get to that point, you just need to push past it. You just gotta push. If you're afraid, do it anyway, right? It's that thought, right? It's that concept and that understanding that yes, I can put the limitations. Yes, I can mentally talk myself out of this. Yes, I can tell myself this is something I'm not capable of doing. Again, I'm gonna apologize for being a filming with my hand. I do have a holder on the phone. I did bring a stand, but I'm not gonna put it up in the library. I'm too ashamed. I'm not there yet. I'm coming. Give me some room. I'm filming, dang it. Like, that's big. The fact that I even got to this point is big. I've known for years that I needed to be on here. It's so bad that I would, when I was driving Uber and Lyft, I would ask riders, I would pick days, and then I would interview every rider, or everyone that felt comfortable to talk to, or everyone that seemed like they wanted to talk. Or if they started a conversation, then I would ask them, do you think I should be on YouTube? Do you think I could handle that or do that? And I was expecting at least one or two to say no, or one or two to give some kind of like discouragement. Nope. But nobody said no. And everybody said yes. And everybody spent time encouraging me to do it. Some even took down my handles, which unfortunately, I did not put it on my business handle. This is on my personal profile because these videos are about me and my personal brand rather than my business. And so I realized my business had its own brand and had its own things that it needed separate of me. Unlike most YouTubers, I actually have a business. My business, I don't say that dismissively. Let me say that appropriately. I produce a product and I produce things, and that are not digital. They're physical. They're quantifiable. And so at one point I realized even with that business, not being on YouTube or not being on social media in a way that was present and active was keeping that business from moving. And that alone was like, the other option is to pay for ads. And I know a lot of people, believe in ads. And I remember my first rodeo with ads when I was still in the concept of drop shipping, and because I always knew I would do something digitally. The idea of being a digital nomad has always, it's been in me long before it became a popular societal norm or understanding. I grew up with a father who taught me the concept of there are three kinds of people. One person will live somewhere their entire lives, never move, never go too far away from the place, never even go and visit people, just they will always be there. The second one will live in two places for their whole life. One half of their life, another half, the other half of their life. And the third person will travel. They will live in several places. They will have experience of different places, different kinds of people. They'll have a knowledge of different kinds of people. You need all three, my father used to say. Why do you need all three? You need all three because the one who's lived there their whole lives is the one who tells everybody what the norm is. The one who's lived in two places has norm of two different places. The one who's been everywhere has a solution the other two can't fathom and might need to hear, or hear of a different culture or a different way of doing things to then come up with their new way of doing things. So I am the third. I am the third person. And I kind of knew that as a child because my dad was the third person. And historically, our family is either a two or a three for centuries. Not, yes, I do know my hereditary down for centuries. That's an unusual knowledge. I am not an African American by descent. I'm Nigerian American. So my Nigerian roots are centuries old. And that's not always common. That is sometimes, but not always. There are some very distinct families in Nigeria that are that old for a reason. So yeah. We'll talk about that some other day if I ever feel comfortable enough to talk about that. But yeah, so, and knowing the kind of people I come from, knowing the expectations, knowing the way I was raised, knowing the expectations then, they were really high expectations in childhood. And I think, as a Nigerian, sometimes being expected to be great is a norm. Being below average is kind of like, okay, so when will you sprout? So it's not that in Nigeria, if you're below average, the understanding is that you're just waiting for something to push you, and that someday something will push you, and then someday your greatness will show up. You know, it's not oh, you're just under average and that's the expectation for your whole life. No, they'll just wait patiently and in anticipation with comments, statements, assistance, all kinds of things to await your greatness. Because the understanding is being born Nigerian is greatness. And therefore you will be great. I remember one of my African American friends said to me, there's two kinds of Nigerians. The one who's hustling like crazy and is gonna have money, either already or it's coming. Or the one who's broke and living the plastic life. And yeah, that is the way. So because, you know, I'm hard to pin to a point to get a full solid, the goal, as I was originally starting with. And as you can see, I deviate a lot, but we'll be fine together. We'll get there. But the goal is to clarity, self-growth, and I like discovering what I'm capable of doing. I like being able to know I came, I saw, I conquered. I know for a lot of people, life is about making money. Life has never been about making money for me. When I was a kid, I had the knack of making money. I made money from caroling in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where it's illegal to show Christianity. In my compound, I caroled on Christmas with a bunch of kids and made so much money I filled up a dining table with food, you know, and got to a point my father had to ask me to stop because my father used to have this fear that I would attract drug dealers. And so, you know, that was that with the money. And so that understanding of money, I like the value of life. I want to get to heaven and God say, well done, good and faithful child. I want to know that my life was valuable. When my father died, up until his funeral, we had it really quickly. We were able to pull that together real fast. But to have people calling you day and night, and not one person alone. There was me, there was my sister, there was my brother, there was my stepmom, and they were calling us all throughout the entire. In fact, I had to leave my phone unoccupied so that people could call and mourn my father for days on end. For it was more than 2 weeks. And, you know, I had sleep mode, thank God for sleep mode. But sometimes I had to shut off the sleep mode because, you know, these were international calls. And so their time zones were different. And this was from different parts of the world because my father had traveled quite a bit and was a pilot and had done a lot of time and had spent time in people's lives and given time, money, presence to people's lives. And they just wanted to say thank you. And because the way he died, a lot of people were not aware he was sick of cancer. A lot of people were not aware that he was ready to go. Like, I remember the day my dad let me know he was ready to go. And I was just like, okay. And, you know, there's some things you learn to wear your big pants for. And I'd had enough time with him towards the end. I mean, it will never be enough, let's be honest. There's never enough time with people that matter and the people that are valuable and people that have a lot to give you. There's never enough. I hold a lot of similarities to him. A lot of who I am does come from him. I've always been able to pull parts of my characteristics from him. And so understanding that and knowing the value of how you touch people's lives. Recently I was having a conversation with a friend and she had sent me this video of this little girl who was playing the drums, and her drum teacher was on the side of her, and somebody was commenting about the video. And they were talking about how and you could see the teacher's eyes just pop out when she starts playing, because it's at a level he's not expecting, and she's doing something he's not expecting. And so the level of his response to her playing was just like, his eyes were popping, his whole demeanor was like in shock and awe. And in enough fairness, the girl was playing she was playing, and the music was good. It was really good, and it was awesome. And I said, and my friend's like, people will respond to us that way in the future. And I'm like, no, they already respond to us that way now. The problem is we've never valued ourselves enough to appreciate or understand or accept that. And I said to her, I said, look, people have already valued us. We just need to understand and catch up with the valuation that people have already valued us and the valuation that we already have. Because that's the thing, right? Every human being, Marie Forleo says it best, the world needs that special thing that you have. You'll hear me quote her a lot, because when I was depressed as hell and trying to figure out what to do with my life and only showing up for my son, I would wake up every morning and get up and function, make him breakfast, get him together for school, walk him to the bus stop, or wave to him from the house as he got on the bus and went to school. And every afternoon, I would either be at the corner of the bus stop or be at the door of the house outside where he could see me from the bus stop, and walk him into the house, ask him how his day was, get him together, get his homework done, figure out what he was doing for the day, and then put him to bed. And then I would go back to my little dungeon and not exist anymore. And after a while of that, I said, okay, let's make use of this time. Even if you don't want to function, even though if you don't want to move, let's learn. Let's make this valuable time so that when you look back on it, it doesn't feel horrible. And so I grabbed my laptop and I would watch educational videos and I would learn as much as I could. And Marie Forleo gives away so much free business knowledge. It's sad if you don't watch it. And she would interview famous people. She would talk about things that were important in business and understanding business, understanding how to move in it. And, please note, as a child, I already had business understanding. I grew up with a father who taught me business understanding. I had a bank, Citibank, who felt that because I was a child banking with them, that I should meet with bankers. And so they would force me into business education or money education. Let me be more specific. It's not that I wasn't educated in how to run money or what to do with money. It was that somewhere along the line, I lost the value of who I was. I lost the value of what I wanted. I lost the value of what was important to me. I lost the value of why I wanted to. I always knew why I wanted to achieve. I definitely wanted to make the world a better place. I definitely wanted to add to the world. I definitely wanted not to be a subtraction in the world. I wanted to be a gain. I wanted my children to be a gain, but I didn't understand sometimes how to do that. When I was in my 20s, I would go to job interviews at manufacturing facilities because I wanted to be in a warehouse. I wanted a steady warehouse job. I'm sorry. I went to fashion school, yes. I finished fashion school, but then I had a kid. And then I was like, well, I want a stable job to raise him with. And so I figured manufacturing, take yourself there. And they would interview me and they'd just be like, we just see someone who's an entrepreneur and who's going to grow and you're going to outgrow us quickly and you're going to need to go. And I'm looking like, no, I'm not. I want this job. Be here. And they just knew. They knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I was like, is there a scent on me? Is there something they're seeing that I'm not seeing? I used to get so irritated by that shit. And I was like, there's got to be something I got to figure out. In fact, at one point, I removed my LinkedIn account because I was like, they're not going to find out I have a business. They're not going to find out I'm doing side hustles. They're not going to know what I'm up to. But they would know. They would know. People would know. I worked at JP Morgan Chase. Those people were like, you have the entrepreneur spirit. we can tame you here. We can help you grow in all the ways you want to grow. I was like, no, people, I'm trying to have a 9 to 5, get paid well, and raise my kids. Nope. Everybody would see it. Everybody would see the entrepreneurial spirit in me. And finally had to surrender to it. And finally had to start walking it. And it's been a journey walking it. It's been ups and downs. It's been crazy. I tried walking it with a 9 to 5. I tried walking it without a 9 to 5. I got a divorce. I had to come up with my own definitions of it. Because when I got married, that nigga was like, you gonna keep a job. I was like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. He's like, no, you gonna keep a job. I popped a baby. He said, you're not gonna have maternity leave. You're gonna go right back to work. And I'm looking at him like crazy-eyed duck bird, like, you fucking fucker. But I did it. Hence why JP Morgan Chase, they let you keep. He wanted me to have a corporate job, and so that was the corporate job. And it's funny because when I was younger, I wanted to work in corporate America, but I never went in. Instead, I stayed in like warehouse or that kind of thing. And so when I now went to corporate America and got to see what that shoe fit like and what that shoe looked like, I finally understood why people jump off that boat. Sorry to say, for those who live in it, hey, if you have the stomach for it, if you have the abilities, kudos, way to go. I'm not that chick. But I have to get a 9 to 5 temporarily to, it's actually a part-time. I'm studying for my CDL to become a bus driver. Or we'll see what happens with it. School bus drivers is the goal. I need a home. I need a home to do things in. I need a home to jump base from. I know how to make money when I'm in my own space. And I'm currently not in my own space. And it limits me from being able to make money. I know how to do everything from being an in-house daycare to sewing classes. You name it, I make it happen. It's in my blood. I hustle. I'm learning how to, I've worked helping businesses figure things out. And so my new next chapter is turning that digitally. I was doing it in people's businesses, but they kept trying to make me a member of their business. And I'm like, I got my own business and I ain't trying to work for nobody. And so ChatGPT and Gemini and Google Workspace have helped me figure out the next step. I just need to do it. Isn't that always the problem? The do part, right? Just do it. So I've realized that I probably will just audibly tell ChatGPT or Gemini what I'm trying to achieve and help them help me spout it out. I've had my ChatGPT telling me about my business for about 6 years now, and he's been pretty good at it, and we've had a really good relationship with that. I know a lot of people say it's not accurate and doesn't work well for them, but I don't know, maybe the angle I'm putting stuff into it works for me. Who knows? Either way, they let me use that free a little more than they should, because when I paid for that thing, it was horrible. And I went right back to the free, and that's been pretty good for me. But I probably will end up owning my own AI system soon. I found somebody who could do it for me. I just need to find time to have that conversation with them and begin that pathway. Hence why I need the temporary job to pay for some things to move me forward in some of the ways I want to move forward quickly. I've made a lot of decisions of how my business is going to go, my physical business, right? And I've made some businesses on how I'm going to go, my personal business, my personal brand. Yeah, that's how they call that. My personal brand has a direction, and my business, my LLC, has a direction. And there are things I want to do for my children, and there are things I want to do for my life. I'm one of those people who understands that, yes, my children are my life. My mother basically lived out of us and off of us. And in her family, the motto that their father gave them was, your children are your life. Your children are your everything. Don't worry about your spouse. But your children, yeah, you die for them. For them, you do. For them, you live. For them is everything. And I'm learning how to do that, but still remember who I am. Still remember what makes me tick. Still remember what my dreams are. Still remember what's viable to me and what is valuable to me. And remember to do that in the concept of letting Jesus lead me in the way that I will go. That's so, it's such a different aspect when you go from all about me and myself to Jesus, the universe, the world, and how Jesus sees it, how he moves us, and how he teaches you to teach other people to be free. I do curse a lot. When I first became a Christian, I worked on it, and then I fell off of it. Then I worked on it again. And then the third time, had a conversation with the Holy Spirit, and I'm just going to curse. And some people will be drawn to that. Some people will be drawn away. If you're drawn away, run, damn it, go. Don't even stay. If you're drawn to it, welcome. Welcome. I don't want nobody near me who don't belong, who don't. Otherwise, come do this. Don't come eat off me. Go the other way. I'm not here. I've had enough people steal from me personally, emotionally, physically, in all kinds of ways. We done with that. We're gonna live a life of discernment and a life of forward movement. Welcome to the journey, and let's fly high, and Godspeed.